woman was hospitalized in Wahpeton after being stabbed multiple times this morning. Her alleged attacker is in custody. Wahpeton Police Sergeant Dan Nordick says police found the 26-year-old woman lying in a street in North Wahpeton after a witness reported the incident at about 3 a.m. this morning. Sergeant Nordick says a 23-year-old man was taken into custody shortly thereafter and is being held in the Richland County Jail pending the filing of charges. Police are unaware of the motive for the attack. North Dakota State Senator Lonnie Laffin of Grand Forks says he will introduce a measure regarding the Fighting Sioux nickname in North Dakota's special legislative session in November. The bill will assign the issue surrounding the University of North Dakota's controversial nickname to the State Board of Higher Education. The bill wouldn't necessarily repeal a law that was passed by legislators earlier this year that required UND to keep the nickname, but the Higher Education Board already voted unanimously in August to direct UND to prepare for a transition, so it appears that a repeal of the law will happen if Senator Laffin's bill is passed by the legislature. The 2007 agreement that settled UND's lawsuit against the NCAA said that both the Spirit Lake and Standing Rock tribes had to endorse UND's Fighting Sioux nickname, but the Standing Rock tribe never endorsed the nickname despite the new state law. The Jamestown Civic Center will be hosting a mixed martial arts event on Saturday. Impact Fighting Championship of Bismarck will be putting on the event. And even though it's not on the same scale of the popular Ultimate Fighting Championship, IFC does feature local fighters who have the same fighting styles of UFC fighters. A total of 11 fights are scheduled for Saturday beginning at 7:30. One of the featured fights of the night will be between Ryan Berwick of Bismarck and Brian King of Minneapolis, who will be fighting in IFC's lightweight semifinal round. Organizers say tickets are still available and can be purchased at Trax Bar or the Civic Center box office. Homecoming week is wrapping up here at Jamestown College, and many students, both past and present, got in on the festivities today. Among other events today, the Science and Math Symposium was held on campus in the Denault Auditorium. Dr. Kirsten Luther delivered a keynote address that highlighted a full day of various presentations. Former and current Jimmy baseball players played at Jack Brown Stadium this afternoon. The Civic Center played host to a men's and women's Jamestown College alumni basketball game, and the Jamestown College Music Department presented this year's homecoming concert. Tomorrow there's a street fair on Allen Field from 9:30 a.m. to the beginning of the football game at 1 p.m. President Barack Obama says he will push for tough sanctions against Iran for the role Iranian officials played in an alleged plot to kill the Saudi ambassador to the United States. President Obama says U.S. officials have strong evidence that the Iranian government directed an individual to engage with a Mexican drug cartel to kill Saudi Arabia's ambassador, as well as carry out other attacks. Quote, "He had direct links, was paid by and directed by individuals in the Iranian government," end quote. President Obama didn't detail any new or specific sanctions against Iran, but he says his administration is considering a number of options. However, experts believe President Obama would need to garner international support in order to implement measures of significance. Meanwhile, Iranian officials offered rebuttals, saying the assertions by President Obama were part of a, quote, "new propaganda campaign," end quote. On a different front, President Obama ordered the deployment of 100 armed military advisors to Uganda today. Along with others, the beleaguered Central African country has been combating the Lord's Resistance Army, which is a notorious renegade group that has terrorized villages throughout the region since the 1980s. President Obama says that the decision is in the U.S.'s national security and foreign policy interests. Well, the wind picked up today and it was cold outside. Maybe not the best weather for the end of homecoming week, but Jessica Gulseth is here to tell us more about the weather for this weekend and the beginning of next week. Jessica?
Well, Matthew, today was rather gloomy. The clouds were out and the sun was not. We saw a high of 52 degrees today, and later tonight we will see highs in the mid-30s with a chance of showers as well. But we should put all that aside because today is Friday, ladies and gentlemen. The end of the school week, the end of the work week for some, and the beginning of a well-needed 3-day weekend for the rest of us. And Saturday will start that weekend off. Saturday will be full of fun homecoming events, so grab your best Jimmy clothes, show a little Jimmy pride, and stay warm. The day will have mostly sunny skies and a high near 53 degrees. Before, some of you were worried about this rain in the forecast and how that would affect your tailgating for the homecoming football game, but as of right now, all you have to worry about is not burning the food. Sunday, if you make it to church, it will be windy, which will make it a cool day with a high in the low 50s. Now taking a look at next week, we will see a trend of temperatures in the low 50s for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Tuesday could be a little cooler, but so far the rest of the week looks dry. Thankfully, we can forget about the umbrellas this weekend, but we will still need those jackets. And don't forget about homecoming tomorrow. Enjoy your weekend, Jamestown. I know I will. Back to you, Matthew.
Thanks, Jessica. The Jimmy men's and women's cross-country teams battled the elements today as they hosted the Jimmy Invitational. Featuring previous alumni and teams from the area, the meet was held at the Hillcrest Golf Course here in Jamestown. The meet was one of the last ones of the year for both the men and women until they reached nationals. Or if they reached nationals, that is. A 2-4 record isn't exactly what the Jimmy football team envisioned coming into the season. The Jimmies are only 1-2 in Dakota Athletic Conference play and haven't won a game at home yet. But they're looking to change all that tomorrow as they welcome Mayville State University to town. The Jimmies handily beat the Comets back in September, 35-13, and we'll be looking for some of that homecoming magic to help them do it again. Tomorrow's game starts at 1 o'clock, and be sure to keep your eyes open for the Jimmy Nightline dance team who will be performing at halftime of tomorrow's game. Men's and women's soccer started fall break early with a road trip this weekend. The Jimmies headed for Montana today as both the men and women play the University of Great Falls tomorrow. It will be a tough test for the Jimmy men who are battling for a playoff spot. On Sunday, both the men and women play rematch games against Rocky Mountain College. Volleyball had a match against Black Hills State University this evening. The Jimmies also have a match tomorrow evening against South Dakota Mines and Technology. Be sure to tune in to JCTV on Monday for scores from all the Jimmy games this weekend. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. At JCTV, it's always our desire to connect the campus with the community. Just a reminder to check newsstands for the New Collegian, and of course for the latest news and happenings, visit our website, www.jccollegian.com. I'm Matthew Nies in Jamestown.